I think there's this concept of making things work in the beauty industry that really just doesn't work for me anymore. I don't think that people of darker complexions should have to make certain lipsticks work all the time. I don't think that makeup artists should show up on set and have to try to mix and match foundations or certain products to their kit because they don't have anything that matches the model that's sitting in front of them. We now know that translucent powder isn't really translucent. We now know that some people are better off with cool-based red lipsticks and some people are better off with warm-based red lipsticks. We are all complex, multifaceted people. We have an array of different skin tones, array of different undertones, skin conditions, oily combination, acne prone, you name it. And I just feel like we need to start acknowledging that. So I think the words color consciously is kind of a play on words. In the makeup industry, we like to say we beat that face, we're painting our face, and so to color, we should color our faces, color others' faces, being conscious of the fact that we are different, that this person over here may be dark, but she might have a red undertone while I have a golden undertone, and so what works for her doesn't necessarily work for me, and that's okay. Like, it should be something that we should celebrate. We are all different, we are all beautiful, and it's not something that we can just be like, oh hey, this one thing works for everyone. It's great if brands have things that work for everyone. It's great that if you have a red lipstick that looks good on 90% of skin tones out there, but at the same time, let's not forget that there is a 10% that maybe doesn't look good on. So what does that person, need? What is that person interested in? And just because a product is created for that 10% doesn't mean that it won't also look good for some of the other people in the 90%. And so that's kind of where I'm coming from. I started this campaign because I noticed that there was this school of thought out there that really was just trying to imply that beauty can be one size fits all, and I do not believe that to be true. I do not think beauty can be one size fits all, because I think that instead of organizations, instead of brands purposefully researching and making content, making products for beauty lovers with darker complexions, they instead look at whatever they have and try to make that work. And I just think that's a cop-out and a shortcut. I really don't think it's useful to see a dark hand or a dark arm with swatches of products that don't look good or complement that dark arm. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. And so I wanted to make a campaign that really brings awareness to this, fact or idea, and that I think with this kind of being the year or the time of diversity being in and people wanting to, show that they are diverse, instead of going with a shortcut or, putting a lipstick on a pig, so to speak, you actually have to take the time and invest in something like diversity. Diversity to me is a multifaceted issue, and it should be approached in such a way. I think that especially with a communications background, obviously content should be diverse. You should have an array of complexions, skin tones, cultured, featured in your content. That's what I would want to see as a consumer and as an influencer as well. But in addition to that, behind the scenes, I've been fortunate enough to work in front and behind the scenes, so I know that there's also diversity lacking behind the scenes. Where are all, the black chemists, or where are all of the women of color or men of color social media managers? Like, who's running the accounts that we are scrolling through every day on Snapchat and Instagram? We might take these things for granted, but these things have a big impact on how we view brands and how we view the world around us. And so I really wanted to just do something that says, hey, let's stop for a second. If we want our world, our universe, our bubble, whatever you want to call it, when we look out into the world and we want it to be diverse, how do we get there? And not get there for a second and then regress later when it's not on trend. How do we get there and stay there and go up in an upward, motion and continue to grow? In addition to this move or growth towards diversity, there is a disconnect between an online and in-store experience. We all live online these days. We like to shop online, but the real fun, shopping experience for a consumer is in store. And you know, so many brands are recognizing that. Sephora, for one, just opened a new location in Times Square, and they're all about the experience. We live in an experience economy. 77% of millennials say that their best memories come from experiences, and so many brands, Sephora, Ulta now, including not just having these brands online, but in-store, MAC, NARS, etc. They are trying to make that in-store experience amazing for their consumers when they walk in. When you go into Sephora, it is literally made for you to play. You have the mirror, the lighting, they have the mirrors with the lighting, and the lighting can be adjusted for indoor and outdoor. Like, it's just really cool and really amazing, right? But what happens when you go into Sephora and they don't have foundation that's dark enough for you in the brand that you're interested in? Or, you know, what happens when you go to an Ulta and you're interested in this new thing that came out and they're only carrying six shades? You know, the experience then is dampened, and that's purely based on skin tone, and that's really just kind of sad. And I just really think we need to be conscious of things like that, because people that maybe don't deal with this on a daily basis, it's just makeup, it's not that serious, you know, get over it. But I think that makeup can be such a fun and empowering thing, and that's really all anyone is trying to do at the end of the day. We're trying to have fun. Like, I love when I am able to make my wing super crisp. I can beat or master a cut crease. Like, I feel like I've conquered something, and I think that having the tools to be able to do that is important. If you can't have the tools, if you don't know what's the blackest black eyeliner out there, or, you know, if you need a felt tip pen, or if you're oily and you need a mattifying primer, like, if you don't know where to find those things, then makeup isn't fun, because at the end of the day, you're not going to be pleased. You know, if you're trying to accomplish something, if you're trying to, you know, make a certain look and you don't know where to turn, it's just not going to happen. Especially in the African diaspora, it's really hard for people that fall into that category to find makeup products that are catered to them, brands that are, you know, geared towards them, that actually want to create products that will complement the skin tones that are found in this area. And African diaspora is kind of like a big, it's not a big word, but it's kind of like very vague. But when I say that, I mean, you know, I don't want to do a history lesson, but, you know, Africans back in the day, back in the slave trade, have been scattered all over the world, right? So diaspora includes not only just, you know, Black Americans, but, you know, Afro-Latinas, you know. There are, even in that, and in addition to the African diaspora, there are other cultures and other countries that deal with colorism, and that also has, it's the same effect, it's the same notion there. For example, there's Dark and Lovely, I think, or Dark and Unlovely campaign about, you know, Indian, South Asian people, recognizing that there are dark-skinned people in these places too, and a lot of their media and a lot of their content has only featured people with lighter complexions. And so I just feel like, color consciously. When you're going out there, whether you are a content creator, or you just like to paint your face, or you are a makeup artist, or you are a Sephora consultant, or whoever you are, be conscious of who you're talking to about makeup. Be conscious of who your audience is, and celebrate. Let's celebrate ourselves. Let's have makeup friends of different complexions. Let's feature on our feature pages, our makeup feature pages, people that look different. Like, it's so kind of telling when you go to a page and you look at it in a grid form and you just see the same color people the whole way down. Like, it's kind of like, okay. Let me tell you something. If someone had told me 2 to 3 years ago that I would have a platform to talk about some of these issues that I care really deeply about, I would have thought you were completely crazy. Like, 2 years ago, I was struggling. You know, everybody that lives in New York knows how the hustle and bustle goes, and I just did not see the light. I did not see the light at the end of the tunnel. And, you know, some days, I'll be honest, I still don't. As content creators, you spend a lot of time, you know, behind a computer or behind a camera, but you're by yourself. Like, I'm not out in the world as much as I would like to, interacting with people. And so, you know, but I have this platform, and I know how blessed and lucky I am to have that. And so, You know, I know in my heart that I want to use this for positive things and to speak out about things that I see and that I notice that I maybe don't see others speaking out. And I'm so glad that I found, you know, this passion for something that is just so amazing. Like literally, like I love makeup. I love everything about it. I love YouTube videos. I love professional, you know, runway makeup. I love set makeup, TV, like I love everything about it, but I just know the feeling of feeling like you don't know where to start or where to turn, or the feeling of, oh my gosh, this brand came out with this new product, but oh, they don't have the darker shades yet. We have to wait 3 months. Like that can be like, it's like not a big deal, but it actually kind of is a big deal, especially if like beauty is your life, and I know that that's how it is for so many of us. And so I just want to encourage everyone to color consciously, you know? Beauty is fun, and it should be fun for everyone. And that's what Cocoa Swatches is about. You know, that's what it's going to grow into being. It started off as just swatches on a dark complexion, and then at the time I thought it was so simple, but with the response I got, I was like, wow, like this is something that is kind of revolutionary in the beauty industry, and now we're seeing it more commonplace, which is amazing. But we have a ways to go. So I encourage everyone to color consciously and participate with this campaign by adding the hashtag in any content you post on social media so that we can see it and repost it and celebrate it. And yeah, I thank you guys so much for watching this video and supporting Cocoa Swatches, and I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much. My name is Ofune, and I am the creator and founder of Cocoa Swatches. Thanks for watching.
That's a wrap.